trading on social media doesn't show you what trading actually is, bro. People are more comfortable with holding drawdown than they are with holding profits. If there's people watching this podcast now and they're asking themselves, how can I be disciplined? Then rather go do something else, bro, because then you clearly don't want to be a trader. Strategy itself is probably the least important thing of trading, bro. Like anyone can learn a strategy in probably a day. Like you can't be focusing on what other people are doing around you, bro. There's nothing I can tell you for you to be disciplined. If you want it, you're gonna be disciplined.
Hi guys, we are committed to bringing you guys quality content, and your support is extremely valuable to us. And there are a few ways in which you can support the channel. Firstly, by subscribing to the channel, and secondly, we are partnered with PrimeXBT as our official broker sponsor. You can use the link in the description below to open your trading account today, and that will be another way of showing support. Enjoy today's conversation. Yo, what's up guys, it's Nqobile from Top Trader, and I'm bringing you guys another installment of Market Masters, where I sit down with the most prominent individuals in the game. And today I am joined by a young trader called Matthew Kane. How are you?
Good on you, bro. Thank you for having me on. Super excited.
Yeah, I'm also excited. I'm very much excited. I'm really looking forward to the conversation that we're going to have today. I think there's a lot that you hear to give.
For sure,
as well.
bro.
And I think, like I always tell people, it's always for the benefit of the next person. And I think that's what it's going to be about today.
100%, bro. 100%. I agree with you.
No, perfect. Yeah, obviously. How old are you? Sorry, I forgot to ask.
I actually just turned 22 in September, bro.
Oh, yeah? Gee.
So, still young, bro.
You're making me feel very old.
Yeah. No, I get told that all the time.
Oh,
I
yeah.
don't think that's that young, though, bro.
You think so?
I feel old, bro. I feel like I've been out of school for so long, bro.
Yeah.
But yeah, it obviously is still young. But yeah, super blessed to be doing what I'm doing at such a young age, bro. I mean,
it is quite a young age.
a lot of folks my age are obviously still studying and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Were you part of the COVID gang?
No, I
With the
wasn't.
trading?
I was in grade. I was in grade 10.
Okay.
Actually, interesting story, bro. I was at hostel. So
okay.
the whole of high school, I was actually a hostel boy at Pretoria Boys. So it was actually quite nice because grade 10, obviously COVID hit. And then we all went home, which was pretty dope. And then, yeah, from grade 10 to like matric, I wasn't even at hostel much, bro. So I didn't get to experience like the full part of it, especially when you're in the high grades. But yeah, COVID definitely did affect me while I was in school, bro.
Yeah, okay.
From your daily life to global markets, the line is thinner than you think. Energy, rhythm, choices around you, never standing still. What feels ordinary is part of something greater. PrimeXBT turns what's around you into opportunities.
And then when does trading come into the scene?
So trading actually came in matric, bro.
Oh, yeah?
I actually had a friend of mine that now is overseas in the Marines. He was one of those guys that got into it. And he was buying all the bots and things like that. And then he would always come show me, bro. He had like deposits a few $1,000 here and there. And then he would obviously blow it like everyone does. And then he eventually bought this robot, which I think he paid like 10 grand for or something like that, bro. Back then, that's expensive. And I was first very skeptical about it. And then obviously being in matric, I had to start looking at what I wanted to do after school and things like that. And I knew I didn't want to study. So he was still doing it here and there. And then I actually had another mate of mine because I was quite big into gym at that point, and we got to know each other through gym. And then I saw he was trading, and I was like, that's the first like I've actually seen trading like properly. So then me and him like started chatting or whatever. And then, yeah, from when I finished matric, I didn't go on rage or anything like that. I went on holiday to Durban for like a week or two. And then I came back 2023, and then I started with trading, bro. And then I pretty much fell into that whole of trading. And yeah, I've been trading ever since, bro.
Yeah.
So not too much of an interesting story on my side. But I mean, yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it, bro.
Okay. And then so beginning of 2023, that's when you rage. When you say rage, you're talking about like it rages that week long.
Yeah, bro. I used to either go to Plet Rage or Durban Rage. All my mates went, and I obviously wasn't interested in going. So I said to my dad, "Now I want to start this trading thing." Went on holiday, then got back. And then I started from then, bro. And then I've literally been on the charts every single day since then, bro. So I've even though I'm only 3 years into trading, I mean, I've actually done a lot of things in the trading industry itself, bro. So I'm for such a short amount of time of being in the space, I've experienced a lot, and I think I've learned a lot, bro. Like I've seen a lot and I've learned a lot from the industry as a whole. And I sort of have stayed in my lane because, I feel like especially social media and stuff like that, that's obviously where most guys hear from trading because they see this crazy lifestyle that everyone's living, especially nowadays, bro. You see everyone on social media, like making so much money from trading. And then it grabs all these people in, and the industry is like so flooded at this point where it's like everyone thinks they can be a trader, where it's really a small amount of people that can actually do trading, bro. So, I feel like a lot of people just get into it as like a quick thing. Obviously seen it on social media, and then once they actually get into it, they realize, damn, bro, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I'm not going to just make millions in the first maybe even 2 years, bro. Takes a lot of time, a lot more time than people realize.
Yeah. You actually spoke about it not being a lottery ticket, and I think that's what you're referring to right now, as to
bro.
where people look at the industry and they're like, oh no, let me just hop in there and hoping, just like playing the lotto,
Yeah, for sure, bro. I think that's the biggest thing, bro. Like a lot of guys, it looks so good from the outside when you see all these guys on social media, and then obviously you yourself get into it, and you might have a few winning trades here and there, but overall most guys end up just blowing their accounts. And then from there, once they blow their first account, they're like, nah, they're not willing to actually give it a proper shot, where in the first place, they were gambling from the beginning. They might as well have just gone to the casino and you'll be better off. A lot of guys actually should probably rather do that, bro. You know what I'm saying? They'll probably actually make more money there than what they would in trading, bro.
Real though, because they're so good at gambling this side, they should just go download one of the apps right now. What was that moment you realized that trading isn't a shortcut?
So I think obviously I got into it, first of all, understanding that it is a long-term thing. I wasn't actually getting into it for the short, quick gain. I knew that this is what I want to do.
How did you know that? It seems like a lot of people don't know that coming into the industry.
I feel you, bro. I just feel like I've always, especially going to hostel, I've been a very disciplined person. So if I'm gonna do something, I'm gonna do it properly. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna get into it and just give it a quick shot and then blame the markets or call trading a scam. So I was willing to give it a proper shot. And I did have my fair share of obviously blown accounts like everyone does. And there was a few points where I was like, damn, bro, this probably isn't for me. Maybe I should just go get a job. But then the more I thought about it, I was like, when you do not give something a proper shot and now you're going to go get a job, you're going to have no time for trading, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I think at that point when I realized, okay, it's either I go like full into this and really just give it a full shot, or I forget about it and just go the normal route that everyone else does, go study, get a job, which obviously I didn't want to do, bro. So your question obviously is, where did it change for me? I think it changed for me when I realized that it's not a short-term get rich, but if you do it properly and understand the fundamentals of trading and treat it as a business, not as a side hustle, then you can really make it work, bro.
So beginning of 2023, how does it paint a picture for us? How does the journey actually go? Like when you're starting out, like what are you doing like on a daily basis? Where are you getting your information?
Okay, so I obviously matriculated end of 2022, and then I came into 2023 still staying with my parents. And luckily for me, I did tell my dad that I want to trade, and he said to me, give it a shot, you know, if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, you can always go and study or do something else. So I was lucky in that sense that I had my parents' support, because I think a lot of young guys, like their parents hear, oh, dad, I want to, you know, like give this trade. And the dad's like, bro, get out of here, bro. Go study something, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I was lucky in that sense. And then, like I said, I had my friend that was already in the trading industry for probably like 3-4 years. So I went straight through him, learned from him. And then obviously, so actually funny story, bro. I never actually traded a demo account from the beginning, nor did I trade a live account. I went straight into the prop firm space, bro.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which I think a lot of oaks would say they don't recommend that. But for me, I would say trading a prop firm from the beginning where you have these rules in place, it actually allows you to not make the mistakes you would if you were trading a live account. Because obviously with a live account, there's no rules, bro.
Yeah.
You can risk the full amount, full port the accounts and blow the accounts. Whereas with a prop firm, you obviously have drawdown rules in place, which forces you to only risk a certain amount per trade, because if you don't, you're going to lose that account. You know what I mean? And it gives you more opportunities, or it gives you more trades to take before blowing that account. Whereas with a live account, a lot of the times guys only put a small amount in. And then in the beginning, they obviously take it serious, bro. They're like, hey, I'm going to risk this amount per trade. But eventually, bro, if you have 1,000 Rand in a live account, you realize that you're not going to make much money from that. So you end up tuning, okay, I'm just going to full port this whole account. And then you end up losing the whole account. And then you do that over and over again, 10 times, you know what I'm saying? And you still haven't actually built any structure in your trading, any confluences, any rules or anything like that. So I feel that's where the prop firms are good, and they do make you a better trader, because those rules are obviously there to be against you, but they do make you a better trader, bro, with having rules in place, because those rules are already in place, so you don't have to put them in place for yourself. So yeah, for me, I still went with TFT at that time, still with the when they had the 30-day, so it wasn't unlimited trading days. You had 30 days to obviously pass.
Yeah.
So I started with that, and I started with a 100K account. And then that whole year I was trading that prop firm account, bro.
For phase one or?
Phase one, bro.
Oh, the whole year.
So that's what happened with me. I pretty much was in that stage of, I was making profits, but because it was a prop firm, you obviously had to make that 10% within 30 days. If you finish the 30 days in drawdown, then you fail.
Sure.
But if you're in profit after the 30 days, they just give you a retry. So you don't actually lose your account. So you get unlimited retries as long as you're not in drawdown or losing money. So you can finish the end of the month 1% up, 2% up, and they'll give you a retry. So for me, with that time limit, every month, bro, I was making like 3%, 4%, 6%. There was one month where I literally made 8%. And then on the last day, I tried to like get that last percentage. I like forced it.
Yeah.
And then obviously I only risked like 2-3%. And then I still finished in profit. So it was literally, I think for like 6-7 months, bro, I was doing that.
Sure.
And obviously I wasn't passing, but I was still making profits, you know what I'm saying? But obviously I didn't meet the 10% target. And then eventually I was like, nah, bro, I can't do this anymore. So I full ported that one. And then the reason I did full ported is because I can't remember I don't know if you remember when that whole thing happened with CFT, where they pretty much said to everyone, that weird shutdown thing happened. And I was doing the challenge at that time. And then all the guys that were funded pretty much got a free challenge, even though they were already funded traders. They were like, nah, okay, we're just going to give you another challenge, and then you have to redo the challenge. So I was like, no, I'm not going to do that, bro. So I just full ported it, and then I ended up failing. And then I think that was about probably closer to the end of 2023. And then after I failed that one, I took a step back, and then I back tested for the rest of that year. And then 2024, I bought a FTMO 100K account, which was unlimited trading days, so you can take as long as you want to pass it. And then I think 2024, it was October, I passed my FTMO challenge, and then that was like...
From the same 100K from the beginning of the year?
Yeah.
Gee.
So it took me that long, bro. Took me that long because I was obviously risking 1% of the account each time. And I was only trading gold as well.
Okay.
Because with gold, with the prop firms, if you're trading currency pairs, you're trading with such big lot sizes that over like 20 trades, your commission that they take from those challenges is like 2-3%. You know what I'm saying? So for gold, I was like, okay, well, it's going to be a small lot size, so commission won't really hurt me that much. But I think that's probably the reason why it did take me so long to pass it, is because I was only trading gold. That's all I was trading. So yeah, I passed phase 1 and phase 2 only trading gold. And then I was like, yo, bro, now I'm going to really make a lot of money. So that was like the point where I was like, okay, now I'm actually going to make like a good amount of money from that. And then, yeah, I got a lot of payouts, bro. Because with FTMO, you can withdraw every 15 days, so like twice a month. So from when I passed it in September, I was getting payouts after payouts pretty much every single 15 days. I was getting a payout, which was pretty nice, bro. So yeah, that's pretty much where my journey came from, and ended up being obviously a funded trader, which not many people can say.
So I want to talk about that 6-7 month period where you were constantly getting like the reset.
Yeah.
Do you think that benefited you in the long run? Or do you think it worked against you?
No, I think it definitely did benefit me, bro, because it showed me that it's not a quick thing, you know what I mean? And for me to be making those profits every single month, getting retry after retry, I literally had 6-7 months in a row, obviously, where I was in zero drawdown at the end of each month, you know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, well, I know what I'm doing, you know what I mean? So it was a good thing for me because I knew long term that if I can just, even though it's a small amount that I'm making, it's like 2-3% a month that I'm making, when I do eventually pass the challenge, that's with $100,000 account, that's between $1,000 to $4,000 a month that I can possibly make, instead of going for those home run trades. So I think in that time, if I was trading a live account, a personal account, it probably would have been a complete different situation, bro. I probably would have blown account after account just because I wouldn't have seen the growth I wanted to on a small account, because a lot of guys obviously don't have a lot of money to put into their own personal accounts. So they end up risking a lot more than they should. For example, giving themselves 10 trades. If you have an account and you're risking 10% of your account, you only have 10 trades before you lose the account. And you're pretty much forced to risk that because you want to at least make a decent amount per trade. So like a lot of guys will do that, and then eventually they're not seeing even though they are making progress percentage-wise, they're not seeing the money come through with that. So that's where I think a lot of guys end up blowing accounts, because they pretty much just get tired of it, bro.
Yeah. Let's talk about discipline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this is probably... Is this one of the topics in your life that you feel like is very, very important?
Yes, bro, for sure.
Above everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the most common behavior that... How can I put it? that has people having lack of discipline?
I think, like you said, discipline is probably the most important thing in trading. And I say that because with trading, like we said earlier, you have to put your own rules in place. You are your own boss. So there's no one telling you what to do. You, at the end of the day, have to go and press that button when it's time to press that button, you know? So I think discipline's a big part of it. And for me, obviously, I was at hostel for a long period of time. So I think that helped me in a sense, whereas a lot of guys don't have discipline. So they just go into the markets when they feel like going in. They don't have a specific routine. So like they'll just go in and take a trade and expect to make money. Whereas for me, like I know I'm waking up in the morning, I'm going to gym, I'm coming back, I've got a fresh mind because I just came from the gym. Then I'm sitting down on the charts just before London session opens. Then I obviously do my analysis. I look if anything's going to play out. I have all my levels in place. So now it's just a waiting game at that point. So if there's nothing there for me to take, then I'm simply not going to sit behind my desk the whole day. And then I'll probably just take a break, wait for New York session. I'll come back just before New York, analyze the market again, see if there's anything that's possibly going to present itself. If obviously nothing presents itself, then I'm not going to go and force a trade. So I think a lot of guys force a lot of things. They'll sit in front of their laptop like pretty much the whole day. Even though there's no setup, they'll look for a setup regardless, and they'll take a setup or 5. You know what I'm saying? For me, I don't take a lot of setups, bro. Like max setups I take a week is probably like 3.
What's your risk reward ratio? Do you have one?
On average?
Yeah, on average.
So I don't believe in having an average risk reward ratio. I think it's more important to have a specific amount that you risk in and stick to that amount that you risk in every single trade. And then obviously when we're looking at making money in trading, you obviously just need to make more compared to when you lose, right? So when you lose, you obviously have a specific amount that you lose. What a lot of guys do, which I've seen hurt a lot of guys, is they have a specific risk to reward ratio that they targeting. So for example, they'll only take a 1 to 3, right? And for me, it's like, okay, but what is the reason for you to take that 1 to 3? Because if you're in a trade and it's up 1 to 2 and price is showing you that it's not going to get to that 1 to 3, you're just going to leave the trade and let it come back to your entry and then possibly even take a loss because you couldn't take that 2% W. So I think for me, what I do, bro, is obviously I have a set amount I risk per trade, which if I'm wrong, I lose that amount. And then I just try and get as much out of the ones that I am right about. So whether that's a 1 to 1, whether it's a 1 to 2 or a 1 to 5, you know, I simply enter the trade, and if price continues going in my direction, then I hold the trade until price shows me that it's no longer going to go in my direction, or it shows me that it's more probable to come back to my entry than it is to continue in my direction. So I never actually set a TP, bro. I simply just enter the trade, and when it's going my way, based on market structure, I obviously just move my stop loss more and more into profit. And then obviously when price does end up reversing, I've got my stop loss in profit for it to take me out.
That is an interesting approach.
But if you are asking me what my average risk to reward ratio is, it's between a 1 to 3.
Yeah. No, but I'm just saying the way
so anything
you
from like
perceive
1% to 3% per trade, bro.
Yeah. No, but it's just that the way you perceive the whole thing, it's quite interesting, because obviously I think a lot of people have an approach of, no, my risk reward ratios only do 1 to 2, because you know, at the end of the day, people are trying to set up some form of guardrails coming into it. So you saying you trade without a take profit, but you use a stop loss instead to take your profits.
So obviously, like for me, I trade price action, bro. So support and resistance, as simple as it gets. And Yeah, I mean, obviously you're trading from level to level, you know what I mean? But there's no need for you to just set a TP at 1, 2, 3 if there's no reason for that TP to be there. So obviously it's not wrong to set a TP. Like if you are looking to take longs on gold from this 4H to the next 4H, your overall TP is obviously going to be at the next 4H. But price could go halfway to that 4H and then come all the way back to your entry. So you need to identify if price is halfway to your overall TP. You need to look at price and say, okay, well, I'm not going to make a rational decision and just get out of the trade now just because I'm scared it comes back to my entry. You're going to simply just look at market structure and see, okay, is price rejecting this level? If it is rejecting this level and holding the whole time, it's more likely to come back to my entry. So I'm happy with rather getting out here rather than price coming all the way back to my entry and then not making any profit. So you need to make decisions based off what the market is showing you and not just emotional decisions, which I think a lot of guys don't really do, bro.
I love that you say you trade support and resistance and it's as simple as it gets. But how did you get to that point of just deciding that, no, you're just going to trade price action and that's that, you're not going to come? Well, I'm not saying complicates before people start coming for me.
Yeah.
Say, yeah, no, it's not that. Yeah.
No, well, I think support and resistance are the fundamentals of trading, but I think it all comes back to pure price action, what you can see on the chart. So I think I personally just think a lot of guys jump from strategy to strategy. And in my opinion, bro, it doesn't matter what strategy you have. I'm not saying that there's other strategies out there that don't work, but I've just found that support and resistance is the most simplest way of putting it. And the strategy itself is probably the least important thing of trading, bro. Like anyone can learn a strategy in probably a day. Like that's not what trading's about, bro. Like there's so many strategies out there that do work, but it's just about choosing what strategy you want to trade and then having the other things in place that are actually going to make you a profitable trader. Because I can give you, for example, my whole strategy of support and resistance, but it doesn't mean I can end the month 10% up. You can still end that month with my same strategy blowing your whole account, you know? So it's not, I personally think it's not about the strategy. It's about how you manage your risk. It's about your psychology. It's about being able to take trades when they present themselves and overall let the probabilities obviously play out.
Yeah. Focusing on something as simple as support and resistance, do you think that people get it wrong at times?
Yeah, for sure. But I think it's so difficult because a lot of guys, when it comes to support and resistance, there's obviously so many levels in the market where price can obviously move from. So I think that's what I'm talking about when guys start to overcomplicate it. You'll look at a guy's chart and he's got 50 lines drawn on his chart, like with this much space in between each other. And it's like, damn, bro, like, why are you drawing so many levels, dude? Like you literally, your brain is just gonna fry itself looking at that many levels, and you're never gonna actually end up taking an A+ setup trade because you've got so many levels. So I think that's more what you learn long term is less is more. Like the less you have, the easier it is, and you eventually realize that it's not actually that difficult, and you just need to like be patient and allow things to play out. Like if you have all the other things in place, at the end of the day, you just need to press that button and let the trade either be a loss or a W, bro. And just let it play out for a few months. You know what I'm saying? Rather than trying to move from strategy to strategy, thinking that there's a holy grail strategy. I promise you there's not, bro. Like there's really not. It doesn't matter what strategy you trade. It's you at the end of the day that puts the rules in place and has the confluences in place that is going to make you a profitable trader.
you said that strategy is the least important thing people
Yeah,
should be.
that's a hot take, bro.
Yeah, it's a very hot take. Yeah, so let's talk about the other things now that people should be focusing on. What would you say, according to you, it should be the one thing that people should focus on the most?
Outside of, obviously, the strategy.
Yeah, outside of the strategy.
Well, again, bro, like, I think people just overcomplicate it. Like, obviously, you need a strategy in order to make money. But I think, like I said, the strategy is not the most important thing, bro. Like, for you to be profitable, you need to, and this is obviously said over and over again, but I mean, it comes back to the same thing, bro. You need to have your risk to reward, first of all, you need to have a lot size in order to risk the same amount every single trade. Having a stop loss doesn't necessarily mean that, it doesn't mean anything, you know. You need to know how much you're actually risking with that stop loss. So I think on top of obviously understanding risk to reward, you obviously need to have the right fundamentals in your own life, bro, because if you're going to be making emotional decisions and taking 5 trades a day, like, it's going to be the same outcome. Like, if you take in 5 trades a day and 3 are losses and 2 are W's, like, you've taken 5 trades and you've still lost money. You know what I mean? Whereas for me, it's like, okay, I'm going to take 1 trade today, and if that's a loss, then I'm done for the day. If it's a W, I'm done for the day. But I'm not going to be taking 5 trades and open myself up to more risk than I have to. I'll rather just take 1 trade, and if that's a loss, I'll rather move on to the next day and then take another trade. Because obviously you need to understand that losses are a big part of it, bro. Like, with any strategy, there's going to be times where you're in a losing streak, and if you have the correct risk management, then you can go into a losing streak, bro. As long as you have the correct risk management in place, there's going to be a time where you start winning trades again. And then because you had the right risk management, that's what kept your account alive long enough for you to actually make money. But if you're only giving yourself 10 trades, risking 10% of your account, you're not giving yourself enough room to actually grow that account, because you could have 10 losses obviously in a row, and then now you've blown your account. Whereas for me, if I lose 10 trades in a row, I've only lost 10% of my account. And I think that's where the capital comes into it. Obviously, like we spoke about earlier, a lot of guys just don't have the capital to allow themselves to risk that small percentage and still make a lot of money.
How do you personally maintain discipline when emotions are loud?
If I'm having a bad day, I'm obviously not going to be trading, bro. Or obviously, if you're sitting on the charts and you have to look hard for a setup and you like really want to take a setup and you like forcing it, then you pretty much just need to have the discipline to step away from the charts and understand that the charts aren't going anywhere, bro. Like, you don't need to force things. Like, you can take a break for an hour and come back and reanalyze the charts. And if something presents itself, you take it. But yeah, I think a lot of guys have FOMO when it comes to social media, because if you're a trader, bro, the only thing you see when you go on Instagram is Oaks taking W after W after W. No one ever shows the losses. So you yourself sit there and think, damn, bro, I've just taken 3 losses today. Then you take a break, you go on Instagram, and now you see this guy just made 500,000 rand. You know what I'm saying? So then that again, you say to yourself, damn, okay. Then you go back into the charts, and now because of FOMO and seeing all these other guys make money, you take another trade, and then you end up just losing more and more and more. And it's like, you don't need to be taking so many trades, bro. You're just going to dig yourself deeper and deeper into a hole. And I think discipline, for me, I don't find it that difficult, bro. I think it's just because I understand that that's what you have to do if you do want to be a profitable trader. You have to understand that if there's nothing going your way, it's okay to take a step back and come back and look for another A+ setup and not just take any random trade that presents itself.
Matthew, someone's looking at you today. They're like, okay, Matthew, I hear what you're saying. You're talking about discipline, But probably for the person at home or wherever they are right now, they're like, okay, where can I start building discipline, actually? Yeah.
So I think, first of all, it starts outside of trading, bro. Like, what are you doing on a day-to-day basis? I know it sounds cheesy, bro, but I do think a lot of people don't have anything going on outside of trading, and they sort of get, how can I say? Like, they get addicted to trading and they can't not sit on their laptop, or even if they're out there on their phone, and it's like this addiction to trading, which can definitely be a bad thing. So for me, I keep obviously my trading hours and my personal life completely separate, bro. Like, I'll sit down in the morning. So what I would say to people is wake up in the morning before London session opens. Obviously have your analysis there. And if there's no trade that's there, you have to have something outside of trading that's going to keep you busy, because obviously then you're just going to end up forcing a trade. So I would say go to the gym, bro, or get a hobby, do something outside of trading that if you are sitting on the charts feeling a bit overwhelmed, you can go and do something else. That would be the first thing. And then the second thing I would say is, I think discipline is all, like, I can't tell you how to be disciplined, bro. I think if you want something bad enough, you're going to be disciplined. You know what I'm saying? So it's not really something that I can teach, unfortunately. Like, if there's people watching this podcast now and they're asking themselves, how can I be disciplined? Then rather go do something else, bro, because then you clearly don't want to be a trader. Because if you want to be a trader, you're going to be disciplined, bro.
So trading is a business.
Yeah.
Is that how you perceive it?
For sure, bro.
Can you break it down for us as to why you see it like that?
Yeah, so I think simply just based on the fact that if you have a business, you obviously understand that you're never going to open a business and make money off the jump. You're first going to have to spend a lot of money on that business before you end up making money. And it's only going to be long term, bro, that you start making money. And trading's the exact same. You know, you come into trading and every single trade that you take is a business expense.
Okay.
You put in money in the market and you take in loss after loss. But if you simply understand that you have to take losses, it's part of trading, then you won't have that emotional effect that comes into it that every trade matters. Every trade doesn't matter, bro. It's a number of trades, over 100 trades. You can take 50 losses, or you can take 70, 80 losses, bro. But then you obviously have to have a stupid risk to reward ratio. But I think if you perceive trading as a business, you're going to take a lot of emotional things out of it and understand. If you just say to yourself, okay, I'm taking this trade now, I'm risking 10,000 Rand and it's a business expense, then I know that that money is not actually lost, because tomorrow I can still come into the markets and I have to risk that amount again. But tomorrow I could be right and I could make 3 times that amount. But if you're going to let that loss like eat you inside, you're going to come into the market tomorrow and you're going to see the cleanest setup possible. But because you took that loss yesterday, you're too scared to take the trade because you don't want to take another loss. So you end up not taking that trade, which would have been a 3RW. And then you sit there and say, damn, bro, now the next one might actually be a loss. And then you do take a trade and it's a loss. And then that just further makes you second guess your next trade. So I think, simply put, obviously a business, you have to put money into it to make money out of it. And trading's the exact same, bro. You have to put money into it before you make money. If you if you're only losing money for the first 6 months in trading, that doesn't mean that you're failing, bro. Like, there's businesses that don't make money in the first 2 years, and trading's the same, you know. You put in all this money in and you're not making anything, but eventually when that business does boom, you're going to make all that money back and more. So you need a risk to make money, bro. Anything in life, you have to take a risk to make money.
What habits would traders need, like from the business world, to incorporate them into the trading?
From a business
to trading. What other habits? Because already now you've already spoken about tracking like your trades like as an expense. Like when you place a trade as an expense. What other habits do you think people also need to consider? Because already you've spoken about the risk of like not making money in the first 6 months. You've spoken about tracking expenses, if I can put it like that. What other aspects of a business do you think people neglect when it comes also coming to trading as well?
So that's a good question, bro. I think obviously as a business, you also need to understand your monthly expenses, and not every month is going to be the same. You know, in a business, you don't have a set amount that you're going to make on a month-to-month basis. So you need to be able to really understand that if this month is a good month, I'm not going to just go and spend all that money. You need to be able to actually hold on to a lot of that money. And that's what a lot of people don't talk about in trading. And I think that's when a lot of people get themselves into a lot of trouble, bro, is they have such a good month and then they end up going and spending all that money, not realizing that next month you have to come do the same thing, and next month you might not make any money, bro. So I think, like I said, having a business and trading goes hand in hand, bro. Like, especially all the emotional pressure that goes into it. It's the same thing. You have to be able to be very disciplined when it comes to owning a business. You can't just go and spend money how you want to spend. You have to be very calculated with how you do things. And trading's the exact same. If you're not going to be calculated and not manage your profits as well as manage your losses, you're still not going to make money, bro.
Sure. You know, as you're talking, I'm actually thinking about a traditional business right now. You know, you find they're dealing with sales, and you find that not every month has the, same amount of sales.
And I mean, there are obviously differences with owning a business and trading. Because obviously with a business, you have employees, you have all of these things that you have to, on top of the loss you already might have taken that month, you now still have to pay your employees. And that's where trading is a better business than any other business, you know, because you don't have to pay anyone, you know, it's you and yourself on the charts, and whatever you make is coming straight back to you. And I think it's actually more difficult because you don't have anyone telling you what to do. So your discipline needs to be even better than what it would be in any other industry, bro. Like, you need to you control everything that happens when it comes to your trading. And there's a lot, that's why I say there's a lot more that goes into it than just the strategy. There's a lot that goes into it behind the strategy, bro.
Sure. Losses are a cost of doing business. When did this concept actually click to you personally?
Well, I mean, when I understood that I can take 3 losses in a row and then one trade can make me back those 3 losses plus more. So when I started not taking every trade as like a big thing, I understood that tomorrow I have to come back and do the same thing. So even if I do take 3 losses, those were calculated losses. You know what I'm saying? I knew how much I was going to potentially lose as soon as I entered that trade, and I accepted that if I'm wrong, I only want to lose this amount. And that's what's so nice about trading, is you can have a certain amount you risk per trade, And if you're wrong, that's how much you lose. If you're right about the trade, you can make 3 to 4 times that amount. You don't know when it's going to happen. You might take 4 losses in a row, but as long as those losses are calculated and you know how much you're going to lose when you are wrong, then when you do actually make money, you can also then manage that winning trade. You can make the most out of it. But if you're someone that's going to take a loss, and then when you take a W, you're going to just try and make back that loss, then it's just going to be the cycle of win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And now you've taken 20 trades and you still haven't made money. So I think, I definitely think there's a emotional side that comes into it, especially for me as someone now that also has a academy and I have students and things like that. A lot of them come to me and the only thing they struggle with is like the psychology part of it, like whether it be their personal life issues that's going on because they're still staying with their parents, this, that. They're a solid trader, but they let their emotions get the best of them. They'll be trading so well for a week or two, and then 1 week they go against everything they just did the last 2 weeks, and now one day they wiped out all of those profits, So you have to stay disciplined when you're in a losing streak, and you have to be even more disciplined when you're in a winning streak, because you can give back those profits a lot quicker than you can make back that loss. And a lot of guys do that, bro. Like they'll be like, damn, bro, I've really got this like on lock now. And then they start upping their risk, doing this, doing that. And then before they know it, they've already wiped out all of those profits. So yeah, discipline is definitely a big part of staying profitable, for sure.
What's the biggest mistake traders make that turns small losses into like complete disasters?
I think when you start not accepting that you can be wrong, I think a lot of guys don't want to accept that they're wrong on a trade, and they first of all get into the trade, risking a certain amount, and then they can be in drawdown, but they refuse to believe that they're still wrong about the trade. So they'll just keep making their stop loss bigger and bigger in hopes that the trade is going to reverse, where in reality, it's not that deep, bro. Like that's why you have your stop loss there, is because it's a calculated loss.
Have you traded without a stop loss?
No, never, bro.
You've never traded without a stop loss?
Never.
Sorry, continue. I was just curious. Yeah, you were busy saying people...
No, I think, like I was saying, I think a lot of people can't accept that they're wrong, and they let their ego get in the way, and then they take a bigger loss than they should have. And then now you were risking this amount once you enter the trade, and now you refuse to believe that you're wrong. So you make that stop loss bigger and bigger and bigger. And the more it goes into drawdown, the more you move in your stop loss higher, because you can't accept the fact that the trade is not going your way. So I think a lot of people do that. And then what people do as well is, like you said, trade without a stop loss, which is pretty crazy to me. I don't understand why anyone would ever do that.
Yeah. What's the difference between somebody who trades consistently and somebody who trades emotionally?
Consistency and emotionally. I think you can do both, bro. I think a lot of people can be consistent traders but still emotional traders, and that doesn't help, But I would say the difference between a consistent trader and an emotional trader is a consistent trader shows up day after day regardless of the outcome, and an emotional trader simply just takes trades for the money and not necessarily for the actual outcome of the trade. They just want to take a trade, and if they're up 5,000 Rand, when they see that 5,000 Rand, they're quick to close it. But then all of a sudden, when they're in drawdown and they're down $5,000, they refuse to take that loss and they start moving their stop loss. And I think a lot of people are more comfortable with holding drawdown than they are with holding profits. Like I see so many people like taking huge losses and then they'll be in profit and now they're like, damn, bro, let me take this quickly before it comes back to my entry. Meanwhile, you can clearly see that you are right. So make the most out of the trade, bro. Like there's no need for you to just close the trade when you see a certain amount of profits involved, you know?
I think a lot of people like trading because it offers freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, freedom can be good, but also freedom can also be detrimental to
For sure.
to us, to self as well. You know, so how does one actually balance this paradox right here?
Of
Like trading offers freedom, but also too much freedom might not be good for a trader.
So I think firstly I want to say is that is the big misconception in trading. I think a lot of people don't understand that there is a lot of freedom in trading. You know what I mean? But you have to understand that with that freedom, like you said, comes a lot of other things where there's not a lot of traders out there, you know. So a lot of people are by themselves trading, and that's when a lot of emotional things come into it because you don't have anyone to pretty much put you in your place or tell you, no, bro, like step away from the charts. You yourself are you're the only one that can do that, you know.
Like, you know how freedom can get to a place where it can like destroy you because you become inconsistent because you're not really focused. But so how do you balance it? Because you're a trader, right? So how do you balance that having too much freedom and also focusing on the charts as well?
I feel you. So I think I do struggle with that sometimes actually, bro, because there'll be days where I'll just go and play golf or like I just won't feel like trading, so I just won't go on the charts all day. So I think it comes back to obviously discipline and having other things outside of trading. I think it's very important to not have trading as your one and only income. I don't think there's a single person out there, I could be wrong, but I really don't think there's a single person out there that only has trading. I mean, if you look at a lot of the guys in the industry, they're not just traders, you know. There's a lot of other things in the trading industry that they get out of it other than just trading. And some guys make more money from other things than they do from their actual trading, you know. So I think discipline definitely comes into it because when you have a lot of freedom, you a lot of times go down the wrong paths. A lot of people start going down, drinking, partying every day because you've got so much freedom. It's a Friday for you every day, you know, but you need to be able to like control yourself and put the work in during the week and be disciplined enough to work through the week and then have your weekend as usual. But I think a lot of guys don't do that. They just go with the flow and they don't really have set things that they do throughout the day. They just go and do whatever, which is amazing, bro, that you can do that with trading, but it definitely can lead you down not a great path when it comes to managing freedom and trading.
You used to day trade.
Yeah.
And now you went to swing trading.
No, I'm still a day trader.
Still a day trader. But you said you trade like 1, 2. Oh, you're still day trading, but you're not trading as frequently as you used to.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's what I'm trying to ask next is that having to wait for the setup. Like, what is the psychology behind waiting for the right setup?
So I think for me, obviously, there was a time where I was taking a lot of trades. And I just realized that with me taking, for example, 10 to 15 trades a day or a week even, it's like, okay, well, let's say I took 15 trades. Out of those 15 trades, I lost 10 and I won 5. And when I did win, it was like a 1-2 or 1-3. So I'm still losing money. It's like over 15 trades, bro. Like that's a lot of trades for you to not make any money. So I just simply took a step back and was like, okay, I could probably take a lot less trades and make money rather than opening myself up to a lot more risk. So I think that's the main thing, but I think as a trader, you should open yourself up to as little risk as you possibly can. And by you taking 5 trades a day, you're opening yourself up to a lot more risk than if you were to take 1 trade a day. Because let's say I take 1 trade today, but that 1 trade gives me a 1 to 5 R. So I made 5% today. And instead of me taking 3 trades on like a lower time frame with not much room, and I'm only taking 1-to-1s on those 5 trades that I took, it's like, okay, well, I lost 3 of those trades that I took today, and the 2 that I did take were 1-to-3s. So I only made 1 or 2%. Whereas if I took 1 trade and it was a loss, I would have still only lost 1%. But if that trade is a W, I would have made 3 to 5%. So I think it comes back to less is more, and you should open yourself up to as little risk as you possibly can.
I want to ask you a question, but I feel like you're going to give me the answer of discipline at this point. No, I just wanted to ask, like, what are practical ways that a trader can manage FOMO?
I would say don't follow all of these traders on Instagram, because a lot of them are only showing their wins, you know. So you automatically going to see all these wins on social media, and it's going to want to make you trade more, and it's not going to help your trading in any way, because you're purely just taking trades based on what you're seeing on social media, because you're thinking to yourself, if these guys are making so much money, then I can do the same. So you go and take a trade because you just went on Instagram and you saw someone else take a W. So I think it's important to not follow too much on social media when it comes to trading, because trading on social media doesn't show you what trading actually is, bro. Like, you can post what you want on social media, you know. Like, social media, you can get anyone to perceive you how you want them to perceive you, and you're only going to see what they show on social media, but you didn't see the 4 losses they just took before that trade. So in actual fact, they didn't actually make any money, but they just showing their biggest W at that time being. And now you are looking at that, and now you going to take a trade because you thinking, everyone on social media is taking W's, so let me go trade. And then you end up going outside of your trading rules or your conferences, and you just start taking random trades, and now you eat yourself into drawdown, and now you have to get yourself out of that drawdown when you've already gone outside of your rules. So you're most probably gonna then try revenge trade and just get more and more into drawdown and eventually blow your account. So I think it's fine being on social media, but at the end of the day, you need to focus on yourself. Like, you can't be focusing on what other people are doing around you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you can't focus on other people. That's not going to make you a better trader.
Yeah, no, that's true. What has trading taught you about yourself that nothing else could have taught you?
I think trading has taught me that what it's taught me about myself. Sure. I think it's taught me a lot, bro. It's taught me how to be patient. It's taught me how to look for long-term, not short-term. It's taught me a lot just about my personal life, bro. Like, I think when you become a trader, a lot of other things around you don't take as serious. Like, things aren't that deep. Like, you just live your life, and you don't allow other people to really have an impact on what you're doing. So it's definitely helped me for good, bro. Like, I don't know who I would be if it wasn't for trading. I think a lot of guys change for the better when they become traders, bro. just helps you learn discipline, because obviously to be a trader and on the charts you have to be disciplined, and that in your personal life helps you a lot. And then also it helps you not be like an emotional person when it comes to like everyday things, you know. I feel like you don't get as angry with things going on around you. You're just a more calm person, bro.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, no, but that is true.
But it can be the opposite as well, you know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm thinking about certain guys who've been in the industry for a very long time who haven't really particularly grown, still doing the same things they were doing 5-8 years back, and you're like,
yeah.
You know, and it makes you wonder. It's because I know we've said this several times on the platform, and this is wildly known that trading is the only career choice where it's you versus you.
Yes.
And obviously there's probably other ones, but it's one that's very popularized where it's you versus you, and you get to know who you really are.
Yeah.
So you kind of look at the landscape and you're like, but bro, you've been doing the same thing for 8 years. You've not grown in front of us. We seeing you from the outside. Clearly you're not trading because this thing really, you confront it confronts you for who you really are.
For sure, bro.
Yeah.
I think like you were saying, a lot of people, you can be trading for 8 years, but if you're not doing the right things, it doesn't matter, bro. Like how much experience you have. Like if you're not gonna adapt to what you're doing wrong, then obviously things are gonna stay the same, you know. And as a trader, you have to adapt, like, because the markets are random at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So you obviously have your edge. That's why you have your strategy and you have your confluences that you have before you take a trade. Certain confluences have to be met. You have your risk management in place and all of those things, which obviously allow you to, over a long period of time, grow as a trader. But if you're not changing what you're doing wrong, then you're going to stay in the same place. Like a lot of guys will look good on social media because they'll obviously only post their big wins and stuff, but you don't know what's going on behind the scenes with that guy, you know. You don't know what's going on. So why would you even compare yourself to that person? Like if he's choosing what to show you on Instagram, bro, and you believe in that.
Yeah.
You only, like, that's your own fault for believing that stuff, you know? So, yeah, I think social media and trading has gotten to a point where everyone thinks that they can be a trader because everyone shows you what they want to show you on Instagram. Everyone looks like a great trader on Instagram because you can literally not be a trader at all, but you can go now and simply just buy, and you might be right and you might make money, and you can go and post that on Instagram, you know?
What has been one of the darkest moments that you've had to pull yourself out of over the past 3 years?
Past 3 years.
Yeah, it's related to trading.
So I wouldn't say there's been any like super dark moments.
Yeah, because gotta be honest, it sounds like your story is very, you hopped into it month after month, you were making profit.
It is
but
crazy,
I think
bro.
it's just an accumulation of everything else.
I was doing the right things from the beginning.
Why is that? I think that's what I'm trying to crack right now. Be like, hey, Matthew, come on, bro, tell us.
I don't know, bro. I just think I just went about it the right way from the start, bro. I wasn't following all these guys on Instagram. I wasn't looking for all these strategies. I just stuck to the same thing from the start. And obviously I did have to make adjustments along the way, you know. But that's where most traders end up failing, bro, is because they hop from strategy to strategy, or they get into it and they actually get clouded with too much information where they look at the charts and they've seen all kinds of different things. And it's like, you're overcomplicating it, bro. Like it's not that deep, you know. And at the end of the day, when you take a trade, yes, you have all your confluences. Yes, you have your bias of where price is most likely to go, but it's still very random at the end of the day. Like, you cannot enter a trade and tell me with 100% certainty that it's going to go in your direction. And that is why you have a stop loss in place. Because if it doesn't go your direction that time, you can mitigate the loss. And when it does go your way, you can make the most out of it, you know? So, yeah, I think I am lucky in a sense where I got into it the right way, you know? I wasn't clouded with so much information, and I wasn't following all these guys on Instagram. I was doing it just low key from the start and building those habits gradually, which over time are obviously going to help you grow as a trader. It's those small habits that you build in the charts that end up making you a good trader.
How important is it to understand money? Because I know we come into the financial markets. It's the financial markets, obviously, you know. And how important is for one to understand money, rather, especially when approaching this game?
So I think that's a great question, Brian. I think a lot of guys, when they get into trading, their whole mindset of money like completely switches, because you see, for example, one day that you made 5,000 Rand that day, and you think to yourself, damn, if I do this every day for the next month, you know, you're going to make all this money. So when you see that first like big amount of money, I feel like then you stop appreciating like the smaller amounts. And then that's where guys like get stuck into trading. And even though they're not gonna ever be successful at it, they still stick to it because it's like a carrot dangling in front of your face on a treadmill, you know? It's like, but I can make this amount. Even though you might never make that amount, that's what keeps people coming back, because they think, but I can make this amount, but they never do. And then at some point it's too late, and now you're 30 and it's too late. So I think that's a big thing in trading, bro. And I've caught myself doing that as well. Like, because you trade in such large amounts, there'll be like a time where you up $500 and you'll look at that $500 and you'll be like, you won't take it because you'll be like, no, I want more. Meanwhile, if you $500, bro, that's 10,000 Rand that you just made in 10 minutes. Like, any normal person would tell you that you're insane to not take that profit. But you as a trader, you know that you can make more out of that trade, you know? Yeah. So I think that's definitely a tough thing when it comes to trading, because there's no cap on how much money you can make, you know?
But how dangerous is that thinking right there? That there's no cap on how much money you can make?
It's dangerous, bro. Because like I said to you, it leaves Oaks like trying the whole time. And even though they're doing the wrong things, they're hoping for, it's like that golden ticket. They're hoping for that trade that's going to set them up for life. Like, there's a lot of guys that have that one crazy trade that gives them like a, what do you say? Like a bit of a step ahead, you know?
Yeah, an advantage in life. Yeah,
like an advantage. But that doesn't happen to everyone. Like, for some people, it's a lot more gradual, like myself. Like, it's gradual profits, but I'm happy with it. Like, I'm not going for that home run trade, but a lot of guys are. And it keeps them at the same point for a very long time, because they, like we say, they don't take those W's because they're like, no, I can make more, or I want more. And then they end up not getting more. And now those profits that they should have taken, they don't take, and it comes back to their entry or hits their stop loss. And now they're digging themselves further and further into drawdown, and they're still hoping for that big trade that's going to set them up. And when you take in loss after loss after loss, you automatically now, when you take the next trade, when it goes your way, you're now expecting that trade to make back all of those losses. And then you're only going to take that trade when it takes back all your losses. And that hurts you, bro, because you're leaving a lot of profits on the table just by trying to get those losses back. Instead of just sticking to the plan and gradually eating away that drawdown, you're now trying to get it back in one trade, and you end up just eating yourself further and further back into the drawdown.
If someone is at the lowest point in their trading right now and they're watching this, what do you have to say to them?
I would say stick to it for sure. And I would say don't do it alone, bro. I would say you're in an industry where there's a lot of people out there that can actually help you. But there's a balance, because there's a lot of people that will only make things worse for you. But I think if you are a trader that feels like you're not getting anywhere and you're only going backwards, I would say sit back, reevaluate what you are doing, and simply backtest. Even just do a backtest session where you go back for a year and you can gain statistics on that specific strategy that you're using. And simply, if you go back a year and take all those trades in your backtesting and you obviously didn't make money, then there's something you need to change, And I think a lot of guys have the misconception of mentors, because there's a lot of mentors out there that are doing well themselves, but as a student, you need someone that's going to mentor you to a level where you can be a self-sufficient traders, which not a lot of these mentors do, It's just like a course that you can in any ways get on YouTube. But to have someone that's actually going to help you through that phase and not allow you to do the wrong things and push you in the right path, I think that's what people need, bro, for sure. I think you just need to go to the right people, and not the social media hype and trying to get those home run trades. It's a gradual thing. And I think people that are like stuck and in a dark place, I don't think they've accepted that it's a long-term thing. I think they're trying to gain short-term success, and that harms them because, like I say, they go for those winning trades, and that only ends up in them losing more and more money.
This has been really interesting for me, Matthew. Very different, I will say. Yeah, because usually you find... it's been very different, I won't lie. But thank you.
Hopefully in a good way, bro.
No, in a very good way. Yeah. Trust me, in a very good way. And I'm just really hoping that the people watching, someone's going to watch this and say, actually, Matthew said this. Okay, nah. Matthew said we got to do things the right way.
I hope so, bro.
Yeah.
I really hope so.
Yeah, because I think there's just a lot of...
I think there's so much like to go into. And that's why, like, when you're asking me these questions, I'm trying to give you like these short answers, but it's like such a long conversation, each of those topics, that you actually have to go into with that specific person, because a lot of people are struggling with different things. So I think like it's difficult to come on here and say all these things and then actually be the person listening to this. It's like you need to have an actual conversation with that specific person and find out what they are struggling with actually, because you'll be surprised. A lot of traders are just simply like have the wrong mindset about it, and that puts them in like a dark place. But one simple conversation can like change their whole perspective of it, Yeah.
No, and on that note, thank you so much for just such an insightful... I know my key takeaway today is the discipline chat. Definitely. Yeah, I said that one quite a lot, bro. Yeah, you did. Yeah, I know. They're gonna see it and be like, nah, but that's I said, the discipline bro, guy.
Yeah, but like discipline, you can't really teach, bro.
Yeah,
Like I said, true. Like if you are someone that wants to be successful at something, whether it be trading whether it be sports or anything, bro. Like, no one can teach you discipline. The only way you are going to be disciplined is if you want it enough, and then the discipline's going to come through with it. You know, like there's nothing I can tell you for you to be disciplined. If you want it, you're going to be disciplined, bro.
But do you think people just don't want it as much as they say they do?
100%, bro. I think they like the thought of it, but they're not actually willing to do what it takes to get to that point. Because if you really were willing to do what it gets to that point, you would wake up at 7 a.m, you'd be excited. But if you sit here and say to me, oh, but how can I wake up early in the morning, bro, to like be a better trader or be more disciplined? And I'm sitting here, it's like, I can't give you tips on that, bro. Like, you either want it or you don't want it. It's not about discipline, actually, dude. It's about whether you want it bad enough. Like, you know, and it's the same as motivation. Like, a lot of guys always want motivation, and then that keeps them going for like a day or two. And then once that motivation passes, it comes back to, do you want it enough, bro? Like, because it doesn't matter how many motivational speeches I give you. Like, you're either going to want it and do it, or you're going to constantly need more and more motivational speaks for you to get up every day to do it. So there's a difference, bro. There's a difference between people that want it and people that actually like are going to do it. Like, you can want something but not do anything about it because it just sounds nice. And you're constantly telling yourself, yo, bro, like, I want that. And it gives you like that, how do you say it? It gives you that kick that you need because you're saying, I want it, but you're not actually doing anything to get it. You know what I mean? Other people need to tell you how to get it. And it's like, well, then you're never going to get it, bro.
Sure. Yeah. No, and on that note, thank you very much.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you guys for having me on.
No, I appreciate you for coming on.
I can chat for 3 hours more, bro.
Oh, no. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do
I was only just getting comfortable.
We're going to run it back again. Don't worry.
Shoot,
2026 is another big year.
Awesome,
Trust that. No, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. This was another installment of Market Masters with myself, Nqobile Tembane, and I'll see you guys same time, same place next week. And we're out.